Good morning. It's Saturday morning, November the 9th. I want to give you a little shop update here. Yeah, we got the LX885 back in the shop. This is the one that we've been working on the motor on. We found out the rings was completely and totally wore out. We got it all put back together. Started up, smoked just like before, run badly. Didn't have near the power as what it did before. So we've done a little testing on it. I thought maybe it was some adjusting that still needed to be done because I hadn't run the valves at all and some of the valves were a little tight. So I got them all adjusted. We still got the valve cover loose on it. You can't hardly see down in there, but this is a 3-cylinder Ford diesel. It's basically about the same motor that was in Ford 4000 diesel. But we only had a little problem. The parts I ordered showed up here and they had 3 compression rings for the rings and an oil ring. And when we took the pistons out, they only had 2 grooves for compression rings. And so we had to figure out which one of those was the ones that needed to go on there, and the one I really wanted to put on there didn't fit real good. And we tried putting one of those pistons back in the hole with one of those heavier rings on it, and we did that on the first hole, and the number 1 piston is the one that is leaking. We couldn't get it to go. We had to take it back out, change that one ring off, and so maybe a little bit of a parts mess up here on this deal. It could be that trying to force that ring down in there scratched the cylinder really bad, or there's a possibility I missed something on that number 1 piston. And so, but these are a sleeve motor, so I can pop the sleeve out and I can get a new sleeve and a new piston for the thing. And so that may be a way we go. Just kind of have to see. I think that was something they had some problems with on these because I've heard of others. Now, I want to just here on this shop update, we've been working on this tractor that Scott got. It's a Alice Chalmers 170. When we got it, and it's got a dual loader that goes on it. It's a Perkins diesel in it. When we got it home, we knew right away when we tried to put it on the trailer over there that it motor was stuck on it. And believe it or not, we pulled it just a little bit and got the motor loose. And so since we've got it home, got the motor loose, we found out that the fuel system was all plugged up. And when we took these, can't hardly see it there, these fuel filters out of it, there's one on this side and one on the other, they were gummed up, rusted apart. The middle of them actually come apart in 2 pieces. And so we got both those changed and got fuel all the way at the injection pump. And then we got busy and the weather got bad for a little bit. And of course it was sitting outside and we really didn't want to mess with it when it was really, really cold. And it warmed up some this week and we got to work on it a little bit. We actually didn't pull it hardly any at all. And the guy told us that the starter was bad on it when we got it. And he said the last times that they had used it, they used it to mow hay with. And it actually was still hooked onto the hay mower when we bought it. And he also said that his father-in-law bought this tractor new in 1972. And so I think the meter on it reads something like 5,000 hours. I never did quiz him to see if it worked or not, but I bet it does. It seems like it's pretty much original. Did have this problem with the motor. We actually had to crack the lines on the injectors and bleed it that way, but this cap right here underneath of that is a steel cap, and it was rusted completely in 2 and was almost like a funneling water into the hydraulic oil. And so when we pulled it around, then the hydraulic oil all turned really white, and we got that drained out. But we pulled it around the other day, bled the injectors, and then it pulled it and it started. And I was surprised when it started. I thought we'd have to pull it around quite a little bit after we bled the injectors to get it to start, but it started right up, no ether or nothing. And it was blowing water out the exhaust a little bit. And the thing has antifreeze in it, and we got figuring out that it's got rust holes. It's a rust hole. And there's some of these places where they've seam welded it. I can see a crack right there. And so with all the rain we've been having, it actually got water in the exhaust you're gonna have to get him a new muffler for it, but or else always keep it inside. That's kind of hard to do if you use one much. But it is starting to run. Had lots of power. I seen him dump the clutch once with it in road gear, and it just kind of took right off. And so since then, he's pulled the starter off. And I asked him, I said, well, he was ready to take it somewhere or get another one, see if we can compare it to one. And he said, no, I didn't test it. And so we got the jumper cables out and on the front of my pickup, tested it, and it worked. The starter worked good on the test. And we looked at the battery the thing had in it, and it was really, really old. I'm not sure how old the battery was in it, but it had individual screw-on caps on the cells. And those are not common at all anymore. They have pop-on caps that are for 3 cells at a time, or they don't have them at all on some batteries. And this one looked really, really old. And so he pulled that battery out, put another battery in it. It just started right up and run good. Don't smoke or nothing. I could probably get in trouble for trying to start it for you. It's not mine. And then we got another little deal in here. Neighbor's tractor. He says the clutch don't work no more. We haven't tried to start it or nothing, but we got it in here where it's in the dry, and we can work on it one day when it's raining. Imagine it's going to be split it in two in the middle and change the clutch. Now I've got some other issues that we're going to work on right now. This is some of the equipment I use for videoing. This is a little tripod. And you'll see that little tripod has a top on it, which is supposed to be like that. And then it screws in here, and this holds my iPad. And so we're going back to old school. This is what I have that I started out with before I got that. So we're going to hook you up to what I have here and see if we can get a little bit of video of me fixing what I bought. And so I don't know how to tell where I've got you headed. So I may have to walk around you, but I got an idea. Got an idea with this, what I can do with this. And what I'm going to try is I'm going to try cutting that off right there. And I'm going to try sticking this bolt up through it and bolting that to it. So I got my equipment set up here. I'm going to work on it a little. Might be enough plastic there to hold a bolt. I could just keep it from spinning, so I'll put it in a vise a little bit here. Maybe that'll keep it from spinning. Now you can see I've got a hole through it. I don't know if this will work or not. Polish that hole up a little bit. Hopefully my bolt will go through it. And it does. Let's see if I can get this nut adjusted to where it's about where I want it. I think I want a little bit more than that. I never did understand this thing when I bought it, because you had two places where it had a ball and socket type of a thing. And neither one of them made much sense to me. One of them was really tight, and the other one would move every time you touched it. And this one here was the one to move every time you touched it. So I may be going to come up with a better setup here. I hope so. I don't like junky. And the whole thing's kind of seemed awful junky. Really like to get it to where it was tight and dependable. When I set it down, I'd know it would stay there. So I'm getting there. And find me a wrench to tighten this up with. And voila! Let's see how it works. Oh no, it says low battery. I figured it probably was. Let's see how this works. Yeah. I got a much better hold on you now. So, I don't know when the battery will die, but it's been a little shop update. Now I'm gonna set you up. Maybe we can get my calves fed. Beautiful day out here today. Got kind of cold last night, and we're supposed to have some really cold coming on Monday night. They're talking about 12 degrees Monday night. Hope not. Hope not. That's what they're saying. We'll get down to 12 degrees. So now we're gonna run a test on this here tripod. Got to get my buckets. Get my calf feeding done. Plan to work on the she shed some. I'd like to be done with that. I so enjoy getting done with a project, you know what I mean? So, okay. I think my cattle may appreciate it some when I shake that down. Get more feed that way. We're getting close to having to grind some more feed. There's a little bit left in the mixer. We actually filled my bin on my truck again. Second load through it. So for anybody that might have been wondering, you can get 2 1,200-pound feed boxes full of feed out of 1,500 pounds of corn ground, and I believe what we had with that was 700 pounds, or no, less than 300 pounds of oats, oats and wheat mixed together. There's probably somebody's wondering how I was controlling that. I got a little push button switch on a wire, and I just shut the wire in my door. Somebody's gonna say, well, that's awful hard on that wire. Well, I've only been doing that for several years with that same wire, so ain't too hard on it yet. See if this thing will start. Bet it won't. That means Paul has to pull the rope. Oh, joy! We have to pull the rope? Yeah, you get to pull the rope. set you up here where you can watch. We'll try to get them down here to where I can feed them. had to put another feeder up here, this last 12-foot section and a 12-foot feeder. We had to redo it because there wasn't enough room for 27 calves in here. And they ain't staying in here forever. I might pull a few of the smallest ones, maybe like that heifer with the down ear. There's a couple other small, quite a bit of smaller ones, but maybe not. I may turn all these out. I've got a hay field up here that we've baled once and not baled again. Didn't get it baled the second time. Up here north of the house, it screwed up a bunch of stuff where we built the new pond at. So I'm thinking I may go ahead and turn them out on it in a few days. Lots of picking in there. And to give me some more feeders to put up there where it's at, so that I can feed them. And then eventually, these 6 over here are gonna outgrow this little paddock that they're in. Yeah, I think my little holder's gonna work out all right. My tripod. Yeah, fix. Got her fixed. And so there's my calves over there. I'm gonna put a little feed in for them. Waiting on me. Aren't you guys? Here we go. I got these 6 calves turned into this trap right here that's, I don't know, 40 foot wide, 400 foot long. One of them had a nasty butt earlier in the week, but he's all better now. Just got stuff stuck to him. Sometimes it happens. Well, that's a shop update and feeding the calves. Maybe I'll get another video here in a little bit of electrifying the she shed. On to the next one.